Sorry, I'm a little gruffy today. Just woke up not that long ago. I'm about to watch the NFL draft around 12 o'clock. I thought it came on at 11 o'clock. Um, it's day draft four, fourth round. I had to make this video because I didn't know that Donald Trump said something yesterday about Sador Sanders. He was very upset at the NFL, so he wrote a tweet out saying, "Why have nobody drafted Sador? He's a very good quarterback." And I'm looking at this, what he wrote, and I'm like, damn, did Donald Trump actually keep Sador from getting drafted? Now, everybody know that the NFL probably despised Donald Trump, and he was at the Super Bowl last year. They booed the living crap out of him. But the thing about it is that, and he was also at one of the other games in college, and they booed him. Or anywhere he goes, he gets booed. But is it that the fact that he said something is keeping Sador getting drafted? Now, me, if you don't give a player a chance, like, I don't understand. Like, you know, there's 7 rounds of drafting, right? Um, and you draft these players you think that's on your draft board, and you like, okay, this player, this player, this player, this player. You got so many people on your draft board. You're competing with other teams to draft. But it really drives me crazy that you have Sador on your draft board, but he's at 20. Because everybody got him at 20 on their draft board, or maybe higher. Everybody thought Sador was probably going to go number 3, um, or number 4 in the first round, top 5. But he dropped so much into the 4th round. Now, if he doesn't even get out of the 4th round, I believe that he's not going to get drafted. He can't go back to college. So what he's going to do is he's going to wait until next year to come back into the draft again, because he could do that. Because he could be draft eligible next year because he didn't get drafted this year. Now, I believe that, quarterbacks get hurt. That's the reason why I don't understand why they won't draft him, because you have to draft quarterbacks. You have to have depth. Now, teams probably said, owners or general managers probably said, well, this is not a good draft class for quarterbacks like it was a few years ago. So we could draft just any position that we need. I understand that, but the quarterback is the biggest need because your quarterback is the one that wins you championships. Now, Sador is not a very athletic quarterback. He's not. He's not very athletic, but he has a very, very accurate arm. And he reminds me so much of Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner wasn't fast. Kurt Warner would never get out of pocket, but he was a very accurate quarterback. And Kurt Warner didn't have a great deep arm, but Sador has a great deep arm. Like a Doug Williams. Doug Williams was a very athletic. People forgot about Doug Williams. Wasn't very athletic when he played for the Washington Redskins. He got hurt a lot. He got hurt in the Super Bowl, but he threw fucking 5 touchdown passes in the second half. You know what I mean? The first half, in the second quarter, he threw 5 touchdown passes. And people were saying that he would never get to the Super Bowl, and he did. He had a backup quarterback that really didn't like him and really didn't respect him. Nobody respected Doug Williams, but Doug Williams ended up winning the Super Bowl, not being very athletic. Kurt Warner, nobody didn't know nothing about Kurt Warner. He worked at a supermarket. He played for the Arena League. Came into the league kept coming after Trent Green got hurt, and he won a Super Bowl. Been to 2 Super Bowls. But you're not going to give this young man a chance. I don't give a damn who his father is. I don't give a damn that he shows his watches. Because like I said before, Baker Mayfield did the same thing. And you had Johnny Manziel do the same thing. And look what Baker Mayfield did. Baker Mayfield went team. Then he found a good, comfortable team to play with Tampa Bay. You know what I mean? And Manziel got kicked out the league because Manziel was a partier. He didn't know what to do. But he was doing this. But now you got him showing his watch. Everybody don't want him. Because he's flashy like his father. Not like his father. His father was very, 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 very flashy. You know what I mean? Deion came in with a leather fucking jacket on, with a chain on, with curly hair, saying it didn't have no oil in it. Or it didn't have no, that stuff they put in their hair back in the day, that grease. You know what I mean? He had a pair of sunglasses on. And the thing that he did, he walked in there with a whole bunch of cameras at the airport taking pictures of him. But the man ran a punt back on his first play of the game. knowing everybody saying Deion probably wasn't going to be a great player. And I know people say that Deion wasn't going to be a great corner in the NFL, and I know they said that. But when he came into the NFL, what did he do? He's the greatest corner of all time. And he won 2 Super Bowls. His son can't do the same thing. I'm not saying his son's going to win a Super Bowl, but can't he get an opportunity to play? Because you need quarterbacks. If he doesn't play well in the preseason, cut him. They don't even want to give him a chance to even let him see what he can do in the preseason. Or say, you know what, he could be a third string. Or he could go and be on a practice squad and still get paid. He don't care about money. Let him play. It don't make no sense that they can say, well, all these other quarterbacks are smarter than him, faster than him, quicker than him, but they never put on an NFL helmet. I don't give a damn about college. College football is not pro. And people always be thinking, oh, he could play in the NFL. Most of these players are not going to be on a team. Most of them are going to get cut. Most of them are going to get waived. Most of them are going to be on a practice squad. And most of them are going to be starters that played in college. A lot of number ones are going to come into this league, and they're not going to be number ones in the NFL. Because there's no such thing as number ones in the NFL. You got backups that are better than the number ones that are coming out of college that are drafted in late rounds. It's stupid to me. Draft him. Put him on your board. Take a chance. It's not going to take that much to take a chance of a quarterback that you need. I don't give a damn if you got the Browns, you got all these different quarterbacks. You got Watson that's not going to probably be in the NFL long. You got Pickens. Like, draft him. You got old head Flacco. Flacco's going to start. Come on. He's going to start for the Browns. Then you got New Orleans. They need a quarterback. But no, they want to skip over him and get somebody else. You know, you got Dart going to the Giants, and everybody's talking about, do you think that you're going to be a star? Everybody believes that you're going to be a starting quarterback in this league. You're going to be a franchise quarterback. Why do they say that all the time? Why do they believe these quarterbacks come into the league, think they're going to be franchise quarterbacks? Just because of a name. Just because of the school they went to. Just because they went to Oregon. Just because they went to freaking Alabama. Just because they went to Georgia. Just because they went to these big name schools. A lot of these quarterbacks that went to big name schools are not even starting in the NFL. There's a lot of Division I schools, but there's a lot of Division II schools and 3 schools that a lot of quarterbacks came out of their starters. I'm not talking about not letting these players get chances like Dart and all of them. They can get chances, but why are you not looking at one quarterback and say, you know what, we're going to give him a chance, see what he do. If he doesn't play well, if he acts stupid, we could cut him. We could take away his NFL dreams. But no, I believe when Donald Trump wrote that tweet, I believe the NFL's like, are you serious? You talking about us, telling us to get this kid drafted? No, that's why he's dropping. If you don't believe me, the tweet, you can look it up, because Donald Trump did send a tweet to the NFL saying, why are you not drafting Sanders? He's a great player. Why are you not drafting Shedeur? And he defended Shedeur. That's why I was shocked. Like, damn, he actually defended Shedeur, because he probably know Deion from the past. Because Deion probably been around Donald Trump when he was younger. Because, like I said, Trump was like an entrepreneur before he became a president. So he knew a lot of athletes and celebrities and stuff like that. He's been around them. And plus, he was part of the he was a part of the XFL at one point. So he knows a lot of NFL players. So to me, if you get a chance to get this man, and see, this is the reason why I love what Peyton Manning said when Peyton Manning, they were trying to draft him, and he went to the Colts, and he told the general manager, you better draft me, or I'm going to come back and destroy your team with any team I get drafted by. This is what Peyton Manning said. You had Tom Brady, drafted 6th round, 100,000 pick. The man won 7 fucking Super Bowls. They passed on him. Brady was the most unathletic motherfucking player in NFL history, but he was accurate like Joe Montana. Not even they said Joe Montana was athletic. He's my favorite quarterback of all time. No, Joe Montana wasn't the most athletic quarterback of all time, but that motherfucker won 4 Super Bowls. 4. And you don't give this man a chance because this man is not all accurate, or he shows his watch, or he shows his diamonds. Why do we always look at black people, my black people, as show-offs? Why do we we got all these other players out there that do these these dances and showing off their money and doing podcasts and talking about how great they were, what they did in their past, and but you get a player that actually has a father in his life that's actually showing him the ropes, and he played for his dad. There's a lot of quarterbacks out there that played for their father. Jalen Hurts played for his dad. Nobody talks bad about Jalen Hurts, but they did before he came into college. They believed Jalen Hurts should have never been drafted to the Eagles. There was a shock that the Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts. He wasn't even supposed to be a starter because they still had Wentz. And when Wentz got hurt and got jealous of, getting jealous of Jalen Hurts, Jalen Hurts didn't play well, but people wanted him cut. People wanted him gone. People wanted him traded. And the man been to 2 Super Bowls. 1 Super Bowl, he could have won MVP. Basically, he could have won 2 MVPs back-to-back when he was in the first Super Bowl when they lost against Kansas City. The second Super Bowl, he was the MVP. He did that in college. He won 2 national championships. He won another national championship, and he won another one. He came in after they got hurt. And he won a national championship. But they went to Oklahoma. And people didn't want Jalen Hurts on this Eagle team. But look at, now everybody loves Jalen Hurts because Jalen Hurts got the opportunity. And he took his opportunity and he won. Why can't they do that to Sanders? Why do people hate? Why do people hate so much? Why are people so evil? I know the NFL is a business. They only go by their draft board. They want the players that they want. They say let's go by position. I don't believe that. I don't believe players. I don't believe coaches go by positions or general managers go by position. I think they go by this guy's faster than this guy. This guy's smarter than this guy. This guy's can take off, get on a block. This boy can play the 0. This boy can play the 6. This can play the 3 or the shade. Or these linebackers can, cover or they can blitz. But they don't go by position because when you go by position that you need, the quarterback is the most important position besides the defensive tackle and your tackle. Which people usually probably draft first is a tackle, not a quarterback. Because the quarterback is important, but your tackle protects the blind side of the quarterback. So you draft a tackle first, and you draft tackles like the defensive tackle and the nose tackle. Or you draft a center. And you probably draft another tackle that's going to protect this other blind side. Then you get your quarterback. Because your offensive line needs to be fixed first before you get a quarterback. They're drafting these quarterbacks that don't have an offensive line. The Giants don't have an offensive line. New Orleans don't have an offensive line. The Jets don't have an offensive line. But you're getting these quarterbacks, and you're saying, oh, there's no need at quarterback. So stop drafting quarterbacks and start drafting the offensive line to get your quarterback to stand up so he won't get sacked, he won't be throwing interceptions, or he won't get hurt. So why are you just walking over these offensive linemen and you say, oh, we don't need a quarterback? You're drafting a quarterback. You need a quarterback. You get one, but you say, oh, well, we don't need that one because we see the tape. So what tape are you looking at? You're looking at college tape. You're not looking at them with pro helmets on. This quarterback's NFL ready. How do you know that quarterback is quarterback? How do you know? How do you know that quarterback is ready to play in the NFL? How do you know? Is it because he's bigger? Is it because he's smarter? Is it because he can throw a ball to other college players, which like the field is bigger, wider, and they got more plays than pro? And most of it's spread offenses. Oh yeah, they can play the spread in the pros. Defensive backs are faster, linebackers are faster, defensive linemen are faster, and they're smarter too in the NFL. People forget all about that. There's no motherfucking, and all these players that are playing in the NFL, most of these players play probably in Division III schools, in Division II schools, and they're the best players in football. But they think Division I players are so great. I love Division I players. My favorite school is Miami and Florida State, and Penn State. But these schools doesn't mean you can come into the NFL and you can do the same thing as in a Division I school in the NFL, because the NFL is 1,000 Division I schools in one. 32 Division I schools. It's fucking college. Fucking pro. You bring these quarterbacks in, you let them see what they can do, and you cut the motherfuckers. Why can't they cut Shedeur if he doesn't play well? Or he starts getting out of hand? He got a father out there that's not going to let him do that. Why don't you give him a chance? Here, you take the keys, but we're going to take them keys back if you act the fuck up or you start not playing well in the preseason. We're going to cut you. They gave Hunter a chance. They say Hunter is the best player in the draft. I don't believe he's the best player in the draft because he plays a two-way player, but he's not going to be playing two-way in the fucking NFL. They're not going to have that like they used to do to Deion because Deion did that later in his career. They're not going to let Hunter do that. Hunter got to play receiver or he's going to have to play corner. Now, if they do let him play two-way, he gets hurt, they're going to lose money. And I wouldn't even take that chance if I was a coordinator because I'm not going to put a player at two-way in the NFL. No, unless he gets a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, to take on that physicality and take on that stamina to play two-way. Because this is not the 1940s. Now, Deion did it. I think Champ Bailey did it. A couple of other players did it. They played two-way. But I wouldn't even do that for now for these NFL football players. Because these NFL players, like, they get hurt so easy. And I like Hunter. I think Hunter was a great corner until he got hurt. You know, he got hurt a couple of times playing corner. And he's a great athlete. And he's a great receiver. I mean, he's always open. But the NFL's not like that. You know, you still got Jefferson. You got Chase. You still got the great receivers out there. Like, people don't understand how the NFL works. People think that they draft these players, they get excited, and then they come into the league. Like, you only see unicorns that come into the NFL. And that's rare to see these unicorns. You know, like the Peyton Mannings, the Joe Montanas and the Bradys and the Donalds and the Carters and all these other wide receivers like the Jeffries, the Mosses, and the Megatrons. They're all unicorns. We don't know what this draft looks like because this is the weakest draft in NFL history. It's the weakest draft in the NFL history. These players that I really don't know half of these players except a couple of players that the one came out in Alabama. I know Dart. A couple of other players that came out of college that I know, that I've seen, I watched play. But you got to prove what you could do once you get on that field. You just can't just say, oh, this player is going to be better than this player is going to be better than this player because this player got better speed, he's smarter, he's faster, he's quicker, he can read, he can do this, he can do that. No, that doesn't happen in the NFL because you got to prove yourself because those players in the NFL that have been playing in the league for a very long time is going to make sure that you don't make the team. Make sure you don't take these spots, especially these old heads. They're going to make sure that you're not going to take their spot. So you got to prove yourself that you're going to take this spot from this fucking player that's right in front of you, like an offensive lineman gets a tackle, and that's a rookie tackle, nose tackle, going against a guard that's been there for 13 years. You think that guard's going to let you get past him? Hell no. You're going to throw your ass to the ground, you're going to get on top of you, you're going to talk shit, and you're going to say you ain't going to make the team. And you know there's a lot of clout in the NFL too, because most of these players be telling them, look, we don't need that motherfucker. We don't need him. He could be a number one player, best player in the world, fastest player in the world. That motherfucker might even make the team because he made a big mistake by doing the wrong route. Or not listening to the coach when the coach tells them, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to be on time. Because most of these players really don't. When they come out of college, they still got this bravado, like they still better than the players that they're playing against in pro. Now, I'm not saying you're not supposed to have no confidence. But the thing is that you can't be doing that when you come into the NFL because them older players is going to make sure you don't make the team. And that's the reason why I'm like, why don't they just draft Shador, let him play in the preseason? He could be a backup, he could be a third, a fourth. He could be the water boy, he could be, the chain gang motherfucker. But give him a chance. See what he can do. Let's see how strong his arm is. Let's see. I mean, it's crazy. Like, all the quarterbacks I have seen throughout the years, it's like a lot of these quarterbacks that were top quarterbacks, like number 1, number 2, number 3 quarterbacks, didn't make it, or they played terrible, and you didn't see them in a couple of years. Look at Donald, that was playing for the Vikings last year. You see what he did with the Vikings in the playoffs? I mean, to try to get them to get the number 1 seed. That man didn't throw not one touchdown pass in the second half, and they were at the goal line 4 times, and he threw 2 interceptions, and he threw a couple of incomplete passes. Couldn't even get into the end zone. Now he plays for. I think he plays for Seattle. But he was a number 1 draft pick. And look at him. Look at Matt Jones, Alabama quarterback. And I always told people he was never good in Alabama, but people love Matt Jones for some reason. And Matt Jones was never good in Alabama. He won a national championship, of course. But the team won national championship because Alabama is just a team that can win because they're birthed from like some kind of genetic motherfucking NFL based genetics or something. That's the reason why I believe Alabama is such a good team because they can win without great quarterbacks. Even though they had Hurts, they had the Wilbur, the guys got drafted. They had Matt Jones. They had a lot of good quarterbacks. They had Tua. They had a lot of good quarterbacks, but Tua's struggling. Tua have a concussion problems. They won't let him go. That will be a great team for Shador to go to. Because Shador could have played for Miami. He's from Miami. His father's from Florida. I think his father's from Florida. He could have played for the Miami Dolphins, been a backup, waiting for Tua to get knocked the hell out like you always fucking do, and he could have been a starter. But no, they didn't want to do that. Tua is their franchise quarterback, regardless if Tua had 19 concussions and almost he could have died last year because his concussion was so bad, and they let him, and he came back to play again. And you don't say, okay, we could get a backup quarterback, bring him in, let him praise. He's not going to take Tua's position because Tua's going to be starter. He's the starter. He makes $100 and something million. They paid him all that motherfucking money. They can't trade him. I think he has no trade clause, and they can't release him because they're going to be penalized. So with the money, so they can't do that. So they got to wait for Tua to get hurt. So Tua will retire. If Tua will retire, the money would never happen. They wouldn't have to worry about no penalties. But Tua didn't retire, and I believe the owner said you can't retire right now. We got too much money invested in you. But you go after Shador, put him on Miami, he'll be a backup quarterback. You know Tua's going to get hurt. He could be a starter. No, that's not happening. It's not going to happen because I believe that he's not going to be drafted. If he does get drafted, he'll be drafted by a team that's going to shock me. Maybe New England, maybe Las Vegas, maybe Philly. Because Philly don't even have a backup quarterback. The Eagles don't have a backup quarterback. We got McKee. They think he's going to be a starting quarterback one day. I don't believe it. But, well, other teams still got the New York Jets. Pittsburgh could still get a quarter. Pittsburgh drafted. Well, Pittsburgh, I don't know what's going on with Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh needed a quarterback. They're so worried about getting Aaron Rodgers, which they shouldn't get Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers is done. But maybe he's not because, like I said before, Achilles injury takes about 2 years to heal, to get his head straight, because a lot of people that tears their Achilles or tears their knee up, they'll be afraid to have people fall around them. They won't be able to step up as much. They can't run as much, so they can't move around the pocket because they're afraid that their Achilles will actually be re-injured, especially knee injuries. That really, because I remember Brady went through that when he got hurt. He had that bad knee injury. He struggled like that year, but it took about 2 years for him to get back together. Then he ended up going to the Super Bowl and winning championships. And I don't know, to me, the NFL, they listen to other people, criticism, and the NFL don't like being criticized or being told what to do. You tell the NFL what to do, well, listen, how you gonna tell us what to do? Like, we're a $1 trillion business. We own Sundays. How can you tell us what to do? We don't have to draft nobody. So I believe the NFL be like, listen, they went to 32 teams. Listen, do not draft Shador. I believe that. And I think Deion Sanders is going to say something too. I believe Deion's going to say something too about the NFL jumped over his son because the NFL told them, all 32 teams, do not draft Shador. And I believe Trump probably had a little bit of something to say about it. And the NFL looked at Donald Trump like, shut the hell up. Who the hell are you talking to? This is our league. We can do anything we freaking want. We don't have to draft nobody that you tell us to draft because just because you're the president of the United States, we don't have to listen to you. So it's sad to see Deion's son go through this. And they drafted a Colorado player. They say, oh, this is the biggest draft. 9 players are going to the draft. Did you know they drafted one motherfucking Colorado player? The NFL only drafted one Colorado player, and that was fucking Hunter. 9 players came that's in the draft. Right now, there's 9 players. Now, you got the supplemental draft, and then you got the motherfuckers you can just pick up anybody that didn't get drafted. You can pick them up. They'll probably pick up some players. They can put them on a practice squad, or they can try out for the team, or they can pick them up after the draft, because even if they're not in the draft, they can still pick these players because they graduated, and they can still go after these players. But to me, I believe that that's crazy. That Dion has 9 players that are coming out in the draft, and only 1 player got drafted from Colorado. After Dion said that we need more players from Colorado drafted, but they only got 1 player drafted. That is, you got some great players that came out of Colorado. I mean, not superb number ones. They could be dropping into 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe they could get, to do the supplemental draft, or they could go, be drafted by, come in and try out for the team, get on the practice squad, and see if they could get drafted, or they can sign a contract. Not drafted, but they can sign a contract just for 10-day, maybe probably play through the preseason, see how good they do, try to make the team, maybe make the special teams, you know, something like that. But it's crazy that the NFL is so fit on, oh, we just got to worry about this player showing his watch, showing his diamonds, or him being flashy. That's what the NFL fucking worry about? You got these motherfuckers, players got gold, that got diamonds in their mouths. You know what I mean? Walk around big ass chains on their chest. So they didn't really say anything about these NFL draft picks that had big ass chains around their neck. One player, what's his name, from Penn State, had he had diamonds in his teeth. And he was up there, like, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't say nothing about him being flashy. Deion Sanders was at home. Deion Sanders' son was at home. Or I think he was not home. I think he was in Colorado. He was at Colorado Stadium. I don't think that he was, like, worried about showing off all that shit. He was just wanting to be drafted. He wanted to play. He got the money. He just wants to play. But they don't want to give him a chance. It's cool. The NFL's getting to be trash. This is the worst draft of all time. Green Bay never needs to draft again. Never. Because it's dry. They didn't have a great draft because there's no... I'm not saying there's no great players coming out of there, because they was a couple, like, both Starks, both for the Giants that played the number 11, that played for Penn State. I forgot his freaking name. I think it's Abdul something. You got other players that are coming here, like I said, Ward. Everybody's thinking Ward's the best quarterback in college, which he wasn't. I don't know why he's drafted number 1, but that's what they wanted. Because they go by arm strength and all. That doesn't mean anything in the NFL, man. It doesn't mean nothing when you put them pads on. That's why I hate watching players in shorts and t-shirts. I hate the combine. The combine doesn't prove anything. Practice doesn't prove anything. Preseason doesn't prove anything. You wait until that regular season come, and that's when you get them starters versus starters. That's when you know if you're good. Preseason, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to play the preseason, but I know that I got to play well. I won't be here. And there's a lot of kids out there that get opportunities, and they don't wind up in the NFL. And they're all number ones. Great players that we always thinking, oh, that's a Hall of Famer. Hall of Famer. That motherfucker's right there going to be in the Pro Bowl 10 times. That motherfucker going to be all pro. That boy going to be on the 100 top list in the NFL, 100 players. No, they don't even do that. Half of these motherfuckers won't even be there. And it's crazy because the NFL is like that. Like, the NFL is like that. It's not the NBA. NBA gives backup players, backup players chances to come off the bench and score like 60. They don't do that in the NFL. They don't even do that in baseball. But the NFL doesn't care how great you are. They just say that because they want you to believe that this player is going to be great because it's from a school that you probably went to, a player that you wanted. But they'll tell you that a player is going to be great. But they know the players ain't going to be great like that. They know all these number ones are not going to be in the NFL. It's going to be a lot of players that come from Division III schools, Division II schools, schools that are not even in divisions. Like community colleges. They got football teams in community colleges that players are playing in the NFL. You know what I mean? Like I said, you got like Doug Williams coming from Grambling, and he won a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Lamar Jackson. You got Jerry Rice coming from some school that's a hard-ass school to say. And even fucking Terrell Owens. These motherfuckers are Hall of Famers. Jerry Rice wasn't even looked at as a top prospect. And the motherfucker's an all-time leader in every fucking thing. I think he got 72 records. Terrell Owens, they said he's probably the greatest receiver of all time. Randy Moss, greatest receiver, came out of Marshall. Motherfucker, you talking about a man with a fucking personality that really was, he went to jail, he did everything, and he almost got cut from playing college football. He played basketball and football, but the man came out and now he's a Hall of Famer. They saying that Randy Moss might be the greatest football player ever. And Randy Moss did some crazy. I still never gonna forget when he caught that pass against Green Bay. He's rubbed his butt up against the goalpost. He pulled it, pretend like he pulled his pants down, rubbed his butt against the goalpost. What happened? He went to New England, didn't win a Super Bowl, but he was on that undefeated team. Did they talk bad about Randy Moss? But Randy Moss was still a Hall of Famer. Terrell Owens did a lot of stupid shit too on the sideline. Even Antonio Brown. Like, come on. I remember Ryan Leaf. I remember Jeff George. I remember all these quarterbacks that used to be. I remember Donovan McNabb, alcohol. This crazy, yo. Look at McNabb. Look at the boy Sharp that played for Green Bay. He locked up for doing some crazy shit. Look at Eric Williams. All these players. Look at Michael Irvin. What Michael Irvin did when he was playing in the NFL. Look at what Shannon Sharp was doing. Like, come on, man. You don't give players chances, but most of these players that they did a lot of bad things in their career. Look at Hernandez. He was going to be a great tight end. He was the first Gronkowski, and he got locked up, and he's dead now. Look at Gronkowski. Gronkowski parties like almost every mother effing day. Was injured prone. He's a Hall of Famer. And he got in trouble too. Hall of Famer. Look at the boy Rugg, locked up after he did to that woman when he was driving 1,000 miles an hour with his car. He's in jail now. The boy Henry, that used to play for Cincinnati, very bad kid, used to get in fights all the time when he played in the NFL. But you know what? If he would have lived, he probably would have been a Hall of Famer, along with Chad Johnson. That's how Chad Johnson said he was a great player. He was just young. Look at Chad Johnson, what he used to do. Talk trash. He was the first one to do celebrations the way they doing celebrations now. And they even tried to ban celebrations at one point. And look what he has done. Now he's a talk show. He said all the things that he did in his past, but he the one that actually started what the players are doing now in the end zone, which they really didn't want in the NFL celebrations. But these are players that got chances, and these players are respected players that might end up in the Hall of Fame. I'm not saying all of them, most of them are, but some of them might be in the Hall of Fame. But look at Shedeur. We don't know what he's going to do. I'm going to say this last thing before I get off this thing because the draft just started. Because they're about to do their picks. New York Giants about to do a pick. And I want to watch this. 4th round. My opinion is that, this is my opinion. I know a lot of people don't want to hear it. People don't care about what's going on in the NFL. For me, I think Jacksonville's doing their pick. For me, I think the NFL has told all 32 teams to jump over Shedeur. There's going to be a team that's going to draft him, but it's going to be a shocking team that's going to draft him. And I think he will get a chance. I don't think he's going to get a chance this year, probably next year, because I believe that he's going to play for a team that has an actual starter, or they have an actual good backup. He's probably going to sit behind, probably be a 3rd-string quarterback. But it will give him a chance to learn and give him a chance to want people to want him to start. I believe that if he plays in the NFL, there's going to be fans that's going to want him to play. Not because of Deion's name, it's just because they know how good he was in college. He wasn't a fantastic quarterback in college, no, but he was a very accurate quarterback. Watch the tape. You don't got to watch him running around. Yes, he got sacked a lot. He led Division I in being sacked, but his accuracy, bringing teams back, confidence, awareness, it's amazing to me. And like I said, he reminded me a lot of Joe Montana that wasn't very athletic, or even a Troy Aikman that wasn't athletic but very, very fucking accurate. Steve Young, very, very accurate, very athletic, but Steve Young was really a great pocket quarterback when you gave him an opportunity to be a pocket quarterback. Like, pocket quarterbacks This is what they don't want. This is why they're always trying to get these athletic quarterbacks now, because they don't want pocket quarterbacks like they used to have back in the day. They want these quarterbacks to move around the pocket, throw these sidearms, jump passes, flicks, and all this like a Mahomes or Rodgers or Brett Favre. They used to be doing all this crap. They want them type of quarterbacks. They want the Jacksons. They want the Jalen's. They want the Alex. They want the Allens. They want them type of quarterbacks that move around. They don't want the quarterback to back on the pocket, drop back, take, 2 steps forward, throw the ball. When a player is doing a post, a real route, they're wide open. They want the quarterback to look, take 2 looks, nobody's open, and start running. Or run the sideline and do some crazy ass pass when they jumping. And this is the reason why I believe that these imaginary quarterbacks that they want to have, they used to have the pocket quarterbacks of the Dan Marinos and the Roger Starbuck. Roger Starbuck ran around, but he still was a pocket quarterback. They want the Terry Bradshaws. They want the pocket awareness quarterbacks. They used to have them. They don't have them no more. They have speed. They have this motion of, they're playing shotgun a billion times because they want to play spread offenses with a running back, and they don't run the ball that much, so they want these quarterbacks to throw. But like I said, I ain't get no likes. I got a whole bunch of comments, probably some mean comments. I don't know. I don't care. I don't want my watching them. Somebody got my boy jersey on, Lawrence Taylor. But bless to everybody.